Hey there, folks. Wanted to share with you a tractor that I just finished up probably the last couple of days. This is a 1971 JCPenny Penncraft El Tigre dune buggy mower, dune buggy lawnmower. This particular one dates to 1971. My understanding is that they built them in 1970 and 71, but this particular one is a 1971. I do actually have the book that came with it, the original owner's manual, and it does have whoever the original owner was, I'm guessing, did write some stuff inside it, part numbers and oil stuff, and also put the sales date of June of 1971 in the book. That's why I'm able to pretty accurately date it. This particular machine I found in Rhode Island a couple weeks before Christmas. I had seen one of these machines probably 2 or 3 years ago, was on Craigslist, and it was posted down, and I want to say it was either Maryland or Delaware. I can't remember exactly where it was. I had contemplated buying it. I thought it was kind of a home-built faker at the time until I did a bunch of research on it, and then I realized that it was actually a production tractor. There's also a very similar one that's red glitter instead of the gold glitter. It goes under the Bonanza name. I don't claim to know a whole bunch of information about the red one, but I know that they were both made around the same era, and they were, in fact, legitimate lawnmowers, crazy enough. This one popped up probably a week before Christmas or 2 weeks before Christmas. It was in Rhode Island. I'm in Connecticut, and I did kind of drag my feet for a couple of days. Wasn't too sure if I wanted to go look at it. I don't really know what made me hesitate. I knew it was cool, and I knew I wanted it. So I eventually, I think it was the week before Christmas, I took one day and I made the drive to Rhode Island to go and take a look at it. And the gentleman that had it was an older gentleman in Rhode Island, really, really nice guy. I went there, took a look at it. The tractor was a little rougher than I anticipated when I got there. A couple things, clearly it needed work on, needed to be addressed. And so, him and I talked about it, and we came to an agreement that I think was fair for both of us. I mean, I was happy, I think he was happy, and that's really all that matters, right? So loaded it up, brought it home, and just started to tear into it. By pure coincidence, I had a couple weeks of vacation around Christmas time, and I pretty much spent like 2 weeks of my life in the garage with the heat on, working on this thing. So I just thought I would go through some of the features of it and kind of show you what's here, and I'm going to do the best I can to, move light around and show you some stuff. I know the lighting here is not great at the moment, but I'm gonna move around a little bit and kind of show you some stuff on the tractor. It is currently, I want to say, single digits outside here in Connecticut, so that's the reason why I'm not going to be doing this outside nor running it, because it's freezing cold. So a couple things I'll just kind of go through with you is when I got the tractor, it was absolutely filthy. I mean, it was filthy, it was dirty, and there was a bunch of things that I was kind of questionable on. From the factory, these tractors came with chrome tins. These chrome tins were pretty rusty. Well, they weren't rusty. They were like, I guess they were rusty. They were rusty. They were all brown. The blower cover and the air cleaner. So I was able to, as you can see, pretty successfully clean them up. I mean, there's a couple little scratches here and there in the chrome, but I mean, I would imagine in 1971, it probably wasn't the highest quality chrome in the world that they were using. So I was able to get the chrome back really, really decent. The recoil is actually cast aluminum. It had a snapped cord and missing handle when I bought it. I polished out I took it off, took it all apart, polished out the housing and put a new rope and a new handle in it. Interestingly enough, the rope was jammed and I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. So I took it all apart. I rewound it exactly the way it was, put a new handle on it, pulled it once and completely jammed up again. Needless to say, it took me about 3 times of taking it apart and rewinding it to realize that somebody must have broken the rope and tried to rewind it at one point. And when they did, they rewound the spring in the wrong direction. And it took me 2 or 3 times of rewinding it back in the wrong direction because I was just following what was there to realize that it was the wrong direction. And that's why I kept jamming up. So when I figured it out and took it all apart and rewound it the opposite direction of what it was, voila, it worked mint. So recoil is all fixed. The gas tank, when I got the gas tank, looked like someone had spray chromed it or attempted to put some silver paint on it. It was kind of a mess. So I stripped the gas tank down to bare plastic. It's a plastic tank. And then I just shot it a semi-gloss black just to kind of clean it up, make it look decent. Also, one other thing that was kind of crazy is somebody obviously worked on the machine at some point, and when they did, they must have rewired the whole tractor. And when they rewired the whole tractor, whoever did it was really, really into wire nuts. There were wire nuts everywhere, and the beauty of it is they were all different sizes, all different colors, and it was wire nut madness. So I proceeded to completely rip all the wiring out of the tractor and completely rewire the whole thing, eliminating all the wire nuts, obviously, and got everything working again. Interestingly enough, the headlights are, I want to say those are 4-inch sealed beams. When I got the tractor, one of them was cracked, the lens was cracked, but the other one was intact. So once I got everything working, as you can imagine, the cracked one worked and the non-cracked one was blown out. Gotta love it. Anyway, so I had to take both those, threw those in the barrel. And thankfully, because I'm a wheel horse guy, I had some 4-inch sealed beams in stock. If you guys are wheel horse guys, you know the 3, 4, 500 series machines all have 4-inch sealed beam lights. Always good to keep those in stock. So that was pretty cool. The glitter body is in pretty good shape. There's one crack right there, which is relatively significant. I've attempted to pull it. You can pull it back together, but because the fiberglass is kind of dry and it's a little brittle, I didn't want to screw with it. And it's in an area where you're never going to see it. Well, I mean, not that you're not going to see it. You could see it because clearly I'm showing it to you. But it doesn't really affect anything. So I decided to just leave that alone. There are a few bumps and bruises here and there, but for all intents and purposes, the glitter is in really nice shape. I mean, this thing's awesome. Also, the running pads were completely gone. Well, one was remaining, but they were garbage. So I made some templates, cut out some new running pads on both sides, replaced those. Just really went through and cleaned everything. Funny enough, so it comes with, if you guys are into steering wheels, like I'm into vintage steering wheels. This is a real Superior 500 glitter steering wheel that they used on these things that matches the body. Pretty insane. I mean, it's got some blems in it, which is unfortunate. There's a couple gouges in it here and there. But all in all, the chrome was all, again, it was crusty. It was all rusty, but I've gone through enough of these steering wheels that I knew how to clean it up. So the Superior 500 wheel came back absolutely mint. I actually have one of these red glitter wheels, NOS, in the original box, Superior 500, pretty insane. Anyway, but I mean, all of the stickers, I mean, it's got the Tigre on it, the shift pattern, not for use on streets, highways, or public roads. There's let's see if we can get that thing. There we go. Let's get that to focus in. Kind of cool. The seat, very interesting. So it's a fiberglass seat with just this heat pressed, I guess, minimalist cushion that was glued to the fiberglass seat. I had to use a hair dryer, really, really heat it up to get it off. And the reason why I wanted to get it off is because the bolts that attach the seat to the tractor itself are underneath that pad. Now, the reason I wanted to get it off is because when you sat on the seat, it was slamming into the body right there on both sides. The reason for that is the whole bottom of the seat was cracked. All the fiberglass was cracked. So let me see if I get it. Hang on a minute. Sorry. Get a light here. So as you can see in the back, it's a little storage compartment, brand new battery. There's actually funny little story. That floor mat is a 1950s. It was just, I don't know. It was like an accessory floor mat for a car that been keeping on the shelf because I figured someday I was going to have the right place for it. Well, guess what? I chopped it up. I only had one. It wasn't even a full floor mat. It's got a really cool like diamond pattern to it. I thought it fit perfect, so we chopped it up. Anyway, back to the seat. So the seat itself was completely cracked. I took the seat off and ground out all of the cracks that were in it and refiberglassed the seat. So there's 4 new layers of heavy matte fiberglass on the bottom of the seat, and I blended it in color-wise to try to make it look original so you can't even really tell it was fixed. But super, super strong now. Super strong, no issues whatsoever there. So that's actually kind of cool. The back of the seat, as you can see, the decals cleaned right up. I waxed and compound the seat, got all the cloudiness out of it, which is pretty awesome. It's got the original. Now, these are the original style taillights. I have reason to believe that these taillights have been changed at one point. Reason being is because, being a car guy, you always have a tendency to date taillights based on the numbers stamped into the lenses. I think the lenses are more of a modern day mold. But I looked at some pictures online. They're absolutely identical to the originals. So I don't know. I think they may have been replaced, but maybe not. As you can see, glitter is in pretty awesome shape. I mean, there's some crazing. You can see the crazing. Obviously, someone slammed it into something or backed it into something or whatever, but it is what it is. Rear hitch, it is just a piece of aluminum. That's all it is. So I cleaned that up. I mean, I polished it. Under this light, it looks like crap, but in normal light, it's actually shining. It's polished aluminum. Let's see what else we got going on here. So all the tires were shot. Everything, fronts, rears, everything was dry cracked. So what I did is I replaced all the rubber. The rears I blasted and painted the rims just because they were pretty messed up. Let me shut this light off. Blasted and painted the rims, cleaned them up, cleaned up the axles. And in the fronts, they did come stock with early style go-kart. Those are go-kart two-piece aluminum wheels, which is stock to the tractor. And I put these Carlisle sawtooths on the front. I thought it looked kind of cool. It does have crappy quality chrome, but the front axle is straight axle chromed. Again, this was all a mess. Everything was disgusting. I spent literally weeks of my life here just cleaning this thing. The other thing I want to note is that I just thought, because it kind of sat high, reminded me of an old school gasser. I thought it was pretty neat. I knew I wanted to do white walls in the rear, and so I decided I was going to go white walls in the rear, white letters in the front. So those Carlisles obviously did not come with white letters. I mounted the tires and then hand lettered all the white letters on the tires. And then in the rear, what I did is I took, I bought these tires off Amazon, shaved all the letters off, which I've done before on cars. Take all the letters off the front wall, and then I painted on the white wall. So the white wall it's oil-based Rust-Oleum, and mixed in, it's oil-based Rust-Oleum flat white, but you can't find an off-white, and I didn't want it to look like just a blazing white stripe. So I carefully mixed in a little bit of rusty brown primer into the off-white, into the flat white. I'm sorry, mixed rusty brown primer into the flat white Rust-Oleum until it got to a tone that I liked, which would be an off-white, because I kind of just wanted it to be kind of a bone white instead of a screaming white, and that was the exact same color I used on the Carlisle sawtooths in the front. So that's that. The mower deck. So the unfortunate thing is the whole tractor was in really, really good shape, but clearly over time, or probably over its life, somebody must have put the mower deck out back or behind a shed or, something like that. And the mower deck, the paint on the mower deck was really, really worn out. It was a mess. It was, it wasn't rotted. The deck wasn't rotted. The deck was very solid, but it was all faded. And typically I don't like hanging decks. I'm not really an implement guy, but I figured on this particular machine, most people would, if you don't know what it is, you're going to think it's just a homemade custom job. And you're going to think, well, yeah, it's not really a lawnmower. But by throwing the deck underneath it, I think you're able to immediately identify, holy cow, this thing is in fact a lawnmower. So I completely disassembled the mower deck, sent it out. I took all the pieces and parts and sent it out to get it powder coated. And I had the entire deck powder coated, went through all the spindles, idlers, blades, everything. And I put it all back together because I just wanted it to be nice and clean. I chose to powder coat it for one primary reason. I was originally just going to blast it and paint it. But then I was thinking, because of where it sits and the fact that, first of all, I'm never going to mow with it. But where it sits on this particular tractor, and just thinking about being at shows and, this, that, and the other thing, I don't think it would be uncommon for maybe someone other than me getting on the tractor to potentially step on the deck to get onto the tractor. And that being the case, if it's just regular painted, it's never going to hold up to even like one footprint or twist of a heel or something. It's going to immediately look like garbage. So I wanted to powder coat it just so it would be a little bit more durable. So there it is. That's the old Tigre. I'm sure I've probably missed some stuff. Original decal, got some air underneath it, but it's there. It's there and it's intact. Headlights are intact. Everything's there. One thing I am missing is there is supposed to be a panel right above the engine here that's in the front of the dash tower. From research I've done, there's supposed to be a panel there that has like 3 circles in it going horizontal. Obviously, that's not there. Kind of sucks. Chances of ever finding one are probably slim to none. If anyone out there potentially has one or knows where there is one, by all means, I would be interested in buying it. But, otherwise, in the overall scheme of things, I can't really complain. It's a relatively complete and awesome machine. So there it is. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I'm sure there are questions. I don't know that I can answer them. The other thing I will throw out to the group as well is if any of you guys know where there may be one of the red Bonanza tractors, by all means, feel free to shoot me an email. If I can find a red Bonanza to get into this kind of shape and get it over next to this one so that I could have the gold El Tigre and the red Bonanza, I would love it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below, like, subscribe, and thank you for your time. See ya.